because it'll save the chat. So this page, which is the link in chat, um, has, finding user accounts to which a role profile was applied. So then you could create a logical set and run a job to like remove notes. Did we find out if you can run a job to remove notes, or did you still have to just do it individually?
I don't
Okay, you
think
can.
you can remove the note. You can turn off the option to create those notes, but I think once the notes are there, you're stuck with them.
uh yeah, but turning this off will significantly reduce the number of notes on users going forward, because literally every time you have an SIS sync and it updates and reapplies that role, uh, it's and depending on how your sync update works, kind of, yeah. Okay, well, cool. Glad that one's actually kind of resolved. Um, as best can be. Um, ooh, Naoko, tell us about, we've got a, so portfolio loader does not include the available from and available until date. Um,
Yeah, this is relatively new that they added portfolio level and available from and available to dates. And I got excited. I thought, oh, I can do that. But it turned out that it's not a field that's included in the Excel file that you're supposed to use for portfolio loader. So you actually have to enter the date manually. It was just a question, this ticket. And
okay.
the answer was like, no, you have to do it manually.
No. Oh man, that's horrible.
And the frustrating thing is that before this dates got added, I was using coverage date because the coverage dates actually show up in Primo. But then I thought the new one's better because then the access will be turned off automatically. But then I found out
Mm,
that I found out even when you add those dates manually, they don't show up in Primo. So
ah,
yeah, so it's for Primo to indicate the date, the subscription date, you have to either use the coverage date or the notes. So you can't really win here.
annoying. Um, and it looks like they're like, yeah, submit it as an enhancement request. Um, so that's a bummer. When was this? Was this yesterday? Okay. Yeah. This Yakima one, because the LDAP wasn't working, and she yeah, her permissions got messed up. Ooh, yeah, Primo collections. What could they tell you, Amy?
I mean, this is a known thing. It's come up on the Alma listserv a number of times. And it's been, I would say, about 6 months now that when I go to update a collection, we use them quite a bit for our special collections, including our new books. It just doesn't, it either doesn't Alma looks correct. I can delete things out of the collection. I can add things, the job runs, but it doesn't match up with what shows up in the Primo collection. Sometimes it just adds a whole bunch and sometimes they all disappear. And Primo doesn't accurately reflect what is in Alma. And it's a known issue. They told me they're working on it. I mean, I keep filing these every time I go to update the new book collections and it doesn't work, just to like add a
You're
case.
like, yeah,
But I think what you have to like re-index those records every time, and it's just a pain. And I don't do that. I just file yet another case. So
yeah,
this is
because
not a new
they
thing. It's just kind of to keep it like
on
I don't
their
know, kind of
radar.
upvoting it.
Yeah. So if anyone else is having those issues, file those cases so that we can pile on so they fix it. Yeah, because re-indexing that seems like a significant extra step when you've fixed like the Elmo situation.
Is that something we can do, or does ExLibris have to re-index those collections?
I think we can do it. Like I said, I don't bother. I just file a case with them. But yeah, no, I think that we can do it because on the
Mhm.
discussion board, other people were talking about doing it because that's the only thing that works. But I don't know, maybe
How
Carly.
to address indexing issues. So if things have been deleted, availability of electronic collections, changes made to a bibliographic record that's not yet appearing. You can index a set, not all of it, not all
And I
of
think
your
that makes it
catalog.
easier because like, I think for the most part, if you make a Primo collection, you're bringing it in from a set you already have saved.
Um, processes that can, doesn't say it necessarily always does. Um, so of course it doesn't, is this local resource type, is that the manual job?
I don't remember in the chat transcript for that case, it says what they actually did it for me that day to get the things out, but then when I went to add new things in, they don't show up either.
Okay, so
Read, gosh.
okay, it says support guy.
Oh yeah, he just said he re-indexed the titles. It doesn't say what job.
Job, yeah. Okay, so manual jobs, local resource type.
I might be able to go back to that day and look at the
See what jobs
job
ran.
history.
It was 9/21.
Okay, give me a minute.
What did they call it? Recalculate. Okay. Okay, so recalculate local resource types job. Push records to Primo VE when you do not want to wait for scheduling a re-indexing based on the local resource types defined. Configuring local resource types for Primo VE. They are recalculated for a specific set of bibliographic records. So I will put this.
There was a job that ran that day called Clean Logical Deleted Lists job. I don't know if that's it. It
okay.
had 0 records processed though, and he said he re-indexed 95 records. But there isn't a job that day that, oh wait, no, here it is. Recalculate local resource types job. It did 95 records. Yeah, so that is the one that he did.
I got a dog that wants up. Okay, so and like, can you see the job details? He just used the set you already had.
No, he created a new set. So the
Okay.
job right before that one was add members to set. I think because I had deleted everything that was in the new books collection and then added, there were like 56, and then I added a bunch more. I don't know. Somehow the collection in Primo ended up with 95 titles, which it shouldn't have. But I don't know where he got that set, because the Alma collection in Alma
Was
the
already
was
updated.
correct, and it did not have 95 members. Only the Primo side of it had 95 members. So I'm not sure how he made a set with just the ones in Primo, and that were mistakenly showing up. Let me look at his. I don't know.
Well,
Oop.
perhaps
Could you have a logical set of everything that's in an Alma collection? And then you run the,
That's what I'm doing, I
Okay.
think, is
Or-
create a logical set of new titles, but it's still not matching up.
Right, exactly.
do you think he used Primo and then exported search results and then
I have no idea. He did it quick. He did it while I was on chat with
yeah.
him. But it doesn't say when I look at let me look at the details. I don't,
Okay.
there are no details.
I'm gonna put into chat so I remember.
Yeah, it doesn't give me any details how he added members to a set from the Primo side. But that had to have been it, because I had emptied the set in Alma and it said 0, but 95 were still showing up in Primo, and so.
Um, interesting. Because if we go and where are your collections
Just
easily,
click on the go button on the search box there. Yeah. That's how I get to it. It's otherwise buried. And then special collections is what we renamed it at the top. And it's that new books one.
okay, so
That's graphic novels. And I haven't
yes,
tested the others. We have tons and tons of them. I haven't tested the others to see if they're also having this problem. I don't know.
well, there's no way as a user to like export these. So he couldn't have done that. So how did he find them? Interesting. Okay, investigation. All right, but it does looks like, so like if you so in order to make that re-indexing kind of work consistently, before you did any kind of collection update, you would have to create a set of the collection you're about to change, do your delete, but keep the set, make your new collection, and then
I bet he went back and I had done a job to delete those 95. So maybe he went back
and
and
use
used
that.
that job.
Yeah, that would
So
make sense. So,
I think that must be it because he had asked, like I had to give him all the job names of all the jobs I had run dealing with that. So he probably went back to those and grabbed a set somehow from the previous job.
yeah, so if you use that set and run 2 jobs on it, then perhaps then it would do it. But yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't, because otherwise, when does recalculation happen? Like, because it says it can get triggered by certain,
Well, and I don't know why
that's the
this,
wrong
we
one.
started noticing this problem, I think in January. I mean, I think it came up on the listserv discussion after they announced, this change to like logical sets would continue to be like updated dynamically
Right.
or something like that. But we had been having these issues. I think that was like in March or May or something, but we've been having this issue with these collections since January. And like I said, I haven't bothered to go see if it's our other collections. The new books one is the one I update regularly, and I didn't want to go mess up additional collections, so I haven't really touched the other ones yet to see if it's happening with all our collections or just the new books one.
Okay, so logical collection, add new.
And isn't this update, they were delaying it, like they rolled it out and it didn't work, and so then they were like kind of said, no, never mind, we still have work to do on this.
Well, and it looks like potentially you have to then schedule a synchronizer update. So you can schedule the synchronized logical collections job, or you can run a manual update, and maybe that is what they had to get working. Because I know initially it was like, yeah, it's just going to do it automatically, but then it wasn't, but I don't remember initially reading about these other jobs. So if you're using logical jobs, you probably want to set up the synchronized logical collections job on at least weekly basis. Depends on how often you're updating. Probably not daily. But then you still have to run the job on that collection, that set, to make it a primo collection, right, Amy?
Honestly, I don't know. If it's this much work, we'll probably stop using them. Like if this is like the new how it has to be every time, it's doesn't seem worth it. This didn't used to be like this.
I'm gonna investigate on listservs because okay, so you've got synchronize, add, delete, and recalculate. Okay. Well, let's look at the most. So we've got, yeah, so Abby, we've had a lot of discussion on the listserv around this problem, and were you able to figure out like where the info came from, or like started working through stuff a little
Well,
bit?
Kirsty had pointed out so many things that were not defined in our system as far as what was defined was a year. It doesn't explain fully what we're experiencing and have been only fairly recently. So something else is still writing in outdated expiration dates on the user roles at around the same time the SIS load happens. I mentioned on the listserv, like this, our SQL guy says we're not writing any notes or profiles or roles, but something keeps getting written into these records. So I've done all the configuration that Kirsty mentioned. Thank you so much for that. So we'll see if it continues going forward. It's really hard I can run the analytics report, I can find these people and address them manually. It's just like something is still not quite right. So,
Well, and I even checked the XML user file from those modification dates with those users, and there's nothing on those, like, there really is nothing coming in from the SIS.
It may be something, is there like something in the background that it triggers that SIS load that's not necessarily going to be listed in the history of jobs? I wouldn't think so, but
no, because if we go, I'm not in anybody else's Alma right now. Analytics got real mad at me today because I've been like in and out of so many people's analytics and accounts. It's like, you're log out, log in, log out, log in. So
I have a vague memory that when we were dealing with this however many years ago, that I think I had changed the user registration rules and it still wasn't fixing everything. And I think that was when I went into the role assignment section. And once I had that role assignment rule that said, assign every single user record the patron role, I think that was what fixed it. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that with that role in place, that you're going to end up with
It'll
that'll fix things. You
because it
might
is
also
giving a value instead of just randomly finding a value somewhere.
Since you have these other role assignment rules, you might also want to go into them and make sure that they're assigning a patron role and with no date
In
as well.
addition, yeah, because there's nothing under profile 1.
But you were finding this in mostly like patron
It was
records,
just,
right?
it
Not
was, yeah, it was,
in library staff records.
it was the student, it was some students in like recent SIS loads.
mhm.
Maybe just to be on the safe side, have all of the role assignments assign patron as a role.
Okay. We're going into yours, Kirsty. You're on the spot now.
Yeah, and like you, it was the same thing where no problem, no problem, no problem, and then just suddenly out of the blue, we're seeing these expiration dates show up on the patron rolls, and we don't know why.
Okay, so you don't have those.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your internal one that you
Yeah.
recently
Mhm.
fixed with the numbers and such.
Yeah, and then the default rule that gets applied in situations where we have to create a patron record manually. You know, somebody's shown up, they just registered that day, and that information isn't in Alma yet, but they need to borrow a Chromebook.
Yeah. Who has, I'm gonna log out so I don't break stuff. Anyone know off the top of their head if you have automatic role assignment for other roles that we could look at? Jennifer, maybe? You've got a pretty well configured system.
We have an automatic role assignment to patron, but I think it was automatically put in by ExLibris.
Uh, okay, so Green
That was
River.
something that Wade did when
Yeah, that's the same one that Olympic has, the one that's there that you've got on your screen.
So if we look at this, it does look like it's some kind of standard, and maybe Whatcom erased them at some point, and that's why or Whatcom did. Kirsty, you did it Seattle.
No, I don't remember
Don't
we ever
remember.
had anything like that.
And default templates for imported is, it just says profile patron, and then you'd go to, what is it? User, no, user groups? No, that's not patron. Roles report?
Profiles?
Now, of course, now it's, yes. Yeah, so then you have to make sure that there's no expiration date in the profiles.
Oh, good
And
catch.
Ours was
mhm.
already set to blank though. That's what I don't understand how all of these got applied except for through the fulfillment rules. Maybe that Kirsty mentioned the configuration
Mm,
of what was it? General, maybe.
was it in other settings?
Yes, I think.
Yes, because it was like set to um
The email had so much detail. It was so great. Like 4 different places to fix it.
um due date beyond user is that okay, and then instructor role
Oh, it was
expiration.
the physical fulfillment advanced policy configuration.
Ta-da.
And then down, starting with, you can filter by patron role or look for it. patron role renewal period.
Ah,
And I had to add the one that says no role and make it the default. But that's not quite the problem I'm finding, right? It's like backdating people's expiration dates. Something is backdating the expiration dates. Ooh, my SQL guy just emailed me.
Are
all right.
all of
So
all of the backdated dates the same?
no.
Sometimes it was like the one that I shared with the group, it was like 4 days back the first time. And then for some reason, they re-upped for another quarter. So the SIS load caught him again. And then it was like 2 weeks back. So I know.
Yeah. Um. Okay. I'm
Thanks
gonna
for
log
sharing,
out of
Amy.
Green River.
That's
Nope.
helpful.
Yeah. Are you using the analytics report that I've made, or well, no, wait. I didn't save that one. I just sent you the results of it.